Steelers Nation. You are now listening to Good Steelers Morning, your daily dose of Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, and everything black and gold. Now, here is your host, Justin Ottstadt.
The 2024 NFL Draft is well behind us, and last week, we got right into Steelers rookie camp for the 2024 class. And I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like Latrobe is just around the corner and it's going to be here sooner rather than later. And thank goodness for that. And before you know it, the NFL season will be returning. And that is something I think we all can't wait for. Now, going into the rookie camp, there's a lot of things to break down. There's some things I want to point out, things I read, things I've seen over on X, which you should be following us over there at Steel City Pods. And you can follow me at Justin Ottstadt, which all those links will be down in the description. Rookie camp had some interesting things to talk about, but as you guys know, rookie camp is rookie camp. It's more so about these new guys coming in and getting familiar with the team facilities, getting familiar with the team history, the team itself, the coaches, and then getting on the field and doing some camp stuff, getting prepared for Latrobe, as the rest of the team is going to be doing so in the coming months. But before we get into some of the interesting things that I want to highlight, I'm going to play a small clip here from Coach Mike Tomlin as he gives you his thoughts on the rookie camp.
Really excited to start the process with this class of Pittsburgh Steelers. Been a good weekend thus far, just a bunch of foundational things, the giving and receiving of information, to get to know, to get familiar component of it, whether it's with each other or how we go about business or the facility itself. And so just a lot of foundational things going on. Appreciative of the group's attention. Got a lot of work ahead of us, obviously, but they appear to have come in relatively good shape as a collective and to bring an appropriate attitude to start chewing on some of these things.
And so there you have it. That is what Mike Tomlin had to say overall about the entire mini camp for the rookies. But he did touch on a few more things, more specific positions and players. Starting at the top, Troy Fautanu, our first overall pick in this year's draft. He kind of discussed a few things with him in regards to his shape coming into the camp. But I do want to note that the offensive line is being shaped with a focus on versatility. And even though Troy and Mason both were playing at the right tackle position during the camp, they are also exploring putting these guys in other positions. But I'm still going to go on a limb and say that Troy is going to be our right tackle going into the season. If not at the start of the season, he'll eventually end up in that position either way. That's just my personal take on it. But here's what Tomlin had to say specifically about Troy.
I didn't know a lot. I think, I don't come into these relationships assuming anything. It's been really good to get to know him. We had dinner last night and sat at the table together. And so just continuing that process. He's in very good condition relative to his position. And that's a really good place to start in terms of laying a foundation for his career.
So as you can see, Tomlin kind of shedded some light on what the process was for not just Troy, but all the players. And he did mention that his shape was pretty good as far as being camp ready and all those things, which that was kind of expected, but we really didn't get anything from Tomlin on paper, which obviously he's not going to do that. He's not going to come out and say, hey, Troy is going to be the right tackle. I wish that was the case in a lot of positions, even quarterback. I wish they would show a lot more confidence in the guys that they're drafting and signing. Looking at offensive line, I want to see some concrete roster spots there being made, but they're going to go through the process of training camp, and I get it. I just don't think anybody's beating him, meaning Troy. I don't think anyone's beating him at the right tackle spot. But Tomlin also got into some more specifics about what each player went through as they came to mini camp, and here's what he had to say about that.
Yeah, we're just trying to allow them to get familiar with our facility. We walked through inside. We worked outside yesterday. We had a dinner over at the stadium. And so it's just more than anything, it's an opportunity not only for us to get some, usual work in, but to just show them not only us, but our facility and what we're about.
Basically, this is just Tomlin giving everybody an inside look at how the team prepares these rookies, which I'll be honest, me personally, I don't remember them doing much of this in the past. I could be wrong. I don't really frequent their YouTube channel, believe it or not. I'm mostly on X when it comes to a lot of this sports stuff, but I'm actually interested in seeing that process and how they get these guys ready for the season. I'm also a preseason guy. I know a lot of people are not. Most people look at preseason as a worthless game. Me personally, though, I think it's a great time for the young players to get accustomed to the league and how the game is played. You get that actual action on the field. You got the helmets, you got the shoulder pads, you got full contact. And I think it's important. And going back to this, I mean, this is another inside look at seeing how these guys are not only getting prepared, but how important it is to get these guys ready for camp. Not just physically on the field, but mentally. And to also get accustomed to like the team in general. Like I said, history, looking at the playbook maybe in a very basic form, meeting the coaches, meeting the staff, and so on and so forth. And if you're a fan of football in general, you can respect the process of it all. But Tomlin did finish up with this, and then we'll get into some of the specific things that I thought was interesting from camp.
I'm looking for a lot of things, to be quite honest with you. How people learn, how they take in information, how they retain information, just some physical things, how their body works, levels of conditioning, things that are really critical in terms of getting to know these guys and building a program individually for them to get them ready for Latrobe.
Again, there's Mike Tomlin discussing the rookies and how they get accustomed to the NFL, but more specifically, the team itself. And I think it's pretty cool, and it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. You want these guys to have a jump start before they get to their first actual training camp with the veterans of the team. And it's a beautiful thing. Now, going into some specific players that I saw footage of and read some things across the internet. One of the players that stood out besides Troy, because we already mentioned him getting some right tackle reps, Roman Wilson. This is a big one. This is a guy that I already explained how much I thought the Steelers should draft him, and we talked about him in depth. If you haven't seen that video, you should definitely consider doing so. Roman Wilson was being tested both inside and outside. Primarily, he will play at a slot position or at slot receiver, but he also took some roles like the Z position in stacked and condensed formations. He was working on improving his route running skills, which we saw a video of that circulating on social media. Of course, a lot of that stuff is them just doing basic stuff. They're not doing anything really crazy on the field. And they're not making big plays. They're not doing big catches or anything like that. They're just doing some basic route running and pretty much conditioning type stuff. But we got a good look at what Roman Wilson is able to do. We saw a lot of his speed on the field, a lot of that explosive acceleration. And it's one of those things I think is going to really stand out and impress Steelers fans when it's time to actually count. And more importantly, I can't wait to training camp to see this guy in the physical formation, seeing what he's able to do in the blocking department. Those things are going to be awesome. But he was the guy that really did stand out at the camp, besides another Wilson, that being Peyton Wilson, linebacker, middle linebacker specifically. Another guy that really did stand out at camp. I know it's kind of predictable here, but this guy just not only looks great on the field. I'm not sure about the number 41. I really don't normally care about numbers, but 41 for linebacker has always bugged me a little bit. I like those guys to be in the 50s, but I digress. This guy looked great, but more importantly, it's some of the stuff that he was talking about. I was reading a lot of interviews from DK Pittsburgh Sports where this guy was just talking about how he wants to help this team win Super Bowls. And I know that's kind of like whatever. Most rookies say those things, but he talks about his love for the game. He talks about the passion. He talks about what gets him up for Sundays, or nowadays in the NFL. I mean, it could be literally any day, but I'm old school, so I say getting up for Sundays. This guy has the drive. Honestly, he has the talent. The only big question mark for him going into the NFL season is the injury history and the no ACL type thing. But I'm the kind of person to think that those things aren't a problem until they are a problem. So basically, don't worry about it until we need to worry about it. Everything he did at minicamp looked great on film. I suggest you guys go see the plenty of footage that's out there. But the guy has the mindset that you need to be a middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's what's really important. He's going to fit into that culture. The culture that we always talk about, the culture that has been missing for quite a bit of time now, and hopefully the culture we're going to see into the locker room that's going to result in a lot more wins in the win columns, and hopefully a playoff berth, and hopefully a playoff win. And at the end of the day, that is what this team is trying to build towards as we are heading to Latrobe. Overall, rookie camp looked very solid. Hoping these guys got accustomed to everything they need to get accustomed to, and we can all look forward to what's next. That said, ladies and gentlemen, I am Justin Outstad. This is Good Steelers Morning. You all enjoy your Monday. It's going to be a long week. We got plenty of content prepared. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.